very, very critical. That principle is why that is what led to the creation of the internal sphere and the external sphere. The internal sphere, for those who don't know, it is a kingdom. It is an entity, right? But the internal sphere, in essence, is a community, is a collection of myself as well as the heavenly kingdom. Everything is tailored towards helping me become the best version of myself that I can be, becoming well-rounded, becoming essentially better in as many different aspects of life as possible. All right. And though the internal sphere is something of interest, the internal sphere, is, let's just say that does give some meaning, but the internal sphere would not have been as meaningful as if it hadn't have been for the external sphere, which is, myself, close friends, family coming together, and I'll say like-minded individuals coming together, all of us to make ourselves better, all of us to create kingdoms that essentially serve the purpose, serve the function of helping the heavenly kingdom, helping ourselves individually and as a unit, and also helping everyone else all around us. All right, so I definitely wholeheartedly agree with that previous statement, but we'll keep it going. All right. So, entertainer Danny Thomas insisted that all of us are born for a reason, but all of us don't discover why. Success in life has nothing to do with what you gain in life or accomplish for yourself. It's what you do for others. Okay. And the journey towards success and fulfillment will not look the same for every person, because the picture of success is different for every person. But the principles used to take the journey don't change. They can be applied at home, in school, at the office, on the ball field, in church. And essentially what the book says is the remainder of this book is going to be about the principles that can help you work towards knowing your purpose, work towards growing your potential, work towards sowing the seeds that benefits others. It doesn't matter where you happen to be right now. You can always learn, and you can always apply these ideas, and that is what makes you successful today. All right, in which that marks the end of that first chapter, in which it probably would have been better to read it, as chapters. The first chapter, more specifically, it's a little strange. Okay, the first chapter was what is success. All right, but the second chapter is what direction should I go? And I'm actually going to take a moment to look to see how long this chapter is, because I probably could have and should have just broken it up into chapters. This one is 15. Okay, and also we're doing pretty good on time as well. So this chapter is 9 pages. All right, so we're going to, and it'll actually take us to once we finish this, it'll take us to page 25. So let's go ahead and actually get started with reading, right? So chapter 2, what direction should I go? You will never go farther than your dreams take you. If you live in a town near the ocean, you may have seen advertisements for cruises to nowhere. Maybe you've been on one. People get on a cruise ship, and when they leave the pier, instead of setting out for a lush island or exotic location, they go out to sea and travel in circles for a couple of days. Meanwhile, they dine on sumptuous meals, lounge around a pool, enjoy shows, and participate in onboard activities. It's similar to checking into a fine hotel or resort. But the problem for a lot of people is that their lives are too much like the cruises. They're on a trip with no set destination and no charted course. They're in a holding pattern, and they occupy their time pursuing pleasures or engaging in activities that don't have any lasting benefit. Meanwhile, they're still traveling around in circles, still going around and round and round and round. And in the end, they finish off no better than when they started, right? A cruise to nowhere may be a fun way to let's just say occupy some time, a few days of vacation time, but it's no way to spend your life. As what was mentioned before, success is a journey. You don't suddenly become successful when you arrive at a particular place or achieve a certain goal. Pardon me. Rephrase. You don't suddenly become successful when you arrive at a particular place or achieve a certain goal, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't travel without identifying a destination. It's still pretty pivotal. You can't fulfill your purpose and grow toward your potential if you don't know what direction you should be going. You need to identify and sail toward your destination. In other words, you've got to discover your dream. All right? Moving on to the next section, right? Still same chapter, but next section. The power of a dream. I believe that each of us has a dream placed in the heart. I'm not talking about wanting to win the lottery. That kind of idea comes from a desire to escape the present circumstances, but not really to pursue like a heartfelt dream. What we're talking about is a vision deep inside that speaks to your very soul. It's the thing that we're born to do. It draws on our gifts, our talents. It appeals to our highest ideals. It sparks the feelings of destiny, and it is inseparably linked to our purpose within life. The dream starts on the success journey. When I look for the name of a person who identified and lived out this dream, or lived out their dream, I think of auto industry pioneer and visionary Henry Ford. He asserted the whole secret of a successful life is to find out what it is one's destiny to do, and then do it. Ford's dream grew out of his interest in anything mechanical. From boyhood, he had a passion for studying and tinkering with machinery. He taught himself about steam engines, clocks, and combustion engines. He traveled around the countryside doing repair work for free, just so he could get his hands on the machines. He became a mechanic and a watchmaker. He even watched as a night engineer for the Detroit Edison Company. Ford became increasingly intrigued by the idea of the automobile and devoted more and more of his attention to it. In 1896, he built his first car. In 1896, he built his first car in a shed behind his house. After that, he continued to think about how to improve his early efforts, and he studied the work of other car builders. In which that includes that of Ransom E. Olds, who manufactured the first Oldsmobile in 1900. But out of his love for machinery and intrigue over the automobile grew Ford's dream, the creation of an inexpensive, mass-produced automobile. Until then, the new horseless carriage had been an expensive luxury item, right, only available to the rich. But Ford was determined to put the automobile within the reach of the common person. In 1899, he helped form the Detroit Motor Company. But when his fellow organizers balked at the idea of manufacturing their product inexpensively in order to sell to the masses, he left the company. He held on to this dream, and his efforts finally paid off. Right? Moving forward, it paid off in 1903, where he organized the Ford Motor Company and began to produce Model T. The first year his new company produced over under 6,000 cars. But only 8 years later, they were able to produce more than 500,000. That's 500,000, right? And they managed to reduce the initial retail price from $850 to only $360. Ford's dream had become a reality. Ford had become a genius and had been credited with the birth of the assembly line and mass production. But no matter what he had going for him, his greatest asset was his dream and his willingness to devote himself to it. A dream does many things for us. Moving on to the next section, moving on to what a dream does for us. A dream gives